Hello. We got updates for the Teneb the Harvester list. For anybody that really cares, I know there's some other weird people that are just like me that can't seem to like get past this old commander. They just have to have it. They have to build it. They've got to keep upgrading it. Welcome, my people. So yeah, we got updates for this deck. As I said, I'm gonna try to periodically like update you guys on when like maybe like a couple months after new sets come out, just new stuff that I've put into these this Teneb list. Keep in mind, I am going to be talking about cards I got rid of and then cards I added. There's not necessarily a one-for-one transition, you know what I mean? It's not like I took that card out for that card necessarily. But they are kind of paired up with cards, just to make it an easier talking point. Okay, cool. And if you're just watching this because you like watching Commander videos and you're not sure what Teneb does, let me give you a quick rundown. 3 a white, a black, and a green for a 6/6 flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 2 and a black. You can only do that once when you hit. And then you can return a creature card from any graveyard into play under your control. He's really good. You swing at whoever doesn't have a flyer. You pay 3. You get any creature. It doesn't have to be the person you swung at either. You can get anyone's out of your own graveyard. Some random dude over here's graveyard. It's very good. Yeah, there's better reanimator decks than Abzan, I'm sure, but Teneb has a special place in my heart, okay? So let's get into it. First thing I took out was Dauthi Voidwalker. Now, this one might seem weird because Dauthi is an extremely powerful card, and it is. He's very, very good. He also exiles stuff that goes to grave, so if they can deal with Dauthi and I can't get him back, those cards are now not able to be reanimated by me, which kind of sucks, you know what I mean? If a creature dies while Dauthi's in play, that creature gets exiled. Now I can't hit that creature with Teneb. It just kind of felt like a Nambo when they were in play together. Also, I just built the Extus deck. I just built the Extus Adventure list, which Dauthi in that list. Ooh, we're going to talk about that list probably in the next week, so expect that. We added a Burning Rune Demon. I mean, it's just good. It's a big flying beater that we can reanimate. Love it. It tutors something for us. Love it. And it gets a second card that goes to the graveyard. Which in this deck you can tutor up like combos. All you really have to do is throw an Eternal Witness in with whatever card and then make it impossible for them to pick anything good for them. So that's always good. We dropped Enray's Forerunner. 1, it's an 8-drop. It was a little steep. 2, it just felt bad a lot of the time. A lot of the time it was just a win more card. It was like, yeah, I play it and I win, I guess. I didn't really... you know what I mean? I don't know. It's not my kind of card. I just played with it a few times. Wasn't vibing with me. We got a Wormcoil Engine though. And that thing be Wormcoil Engine in. I've played that a few times. It's a bomb in here. It dies. You just get a 3/3 Death Touch, 3/3 lifelink. Then you reanimate it with Teneb. It gets really gross. It's really, really good. We took out Erebos Bleakhearted. He is okay. You know what I mean? He has a sack outlet, which is nice. I don't really use that many sack outlets. I did see a comment on the last Teneb video, and somebody was like, I recommend using more sack outlets so that you can, like, cycle through cards more. That's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, like, play big threats, and if those big threats are dealt with, I have ways to just get those big threats back. And that's been doing me good. You know what I mean? The deck play. I really like how the deck plays now. Erebos Bleakhearted was just weird. I didn't have enough small creatures, for one, that were dying to justify the draw a card, pay 2. I definitely didn't have enough Devotion to Black most of the time to activate it. It was just, I didn't like it. I took it out for Guardian Project, which was just the same mana cost, also an enchantment, except it's green. Drew me a lot more cards every time you play a creature that's a different creature type than a creature in play on your side. You draw a card. And if you look at the creatures in the deck, they're pretty much like all a different type, which is awesome. So, Guardian Project's been going hard. It's really, really good in here. I actually did end up taking out Godzilla Primeval Champion. Like, in a mid-power level Teneb list, he was okay because he gave the trample, which is great on Teneb, and then it was an 11/11 trample you could get out of the graveyard. I still think he's good. You know what I mean? And Godzilla's kind of one that I'm still not 100% sure about. Godzilla might still have a place in the deck. Now that I'm reading it again, I'm like, he has an 11/11. That is really good. He might still have a place in the deck. I'm not sure. I took him out for the Gitrog Ravenous Ride. I haven't gotten to play that one yet. 3 a black and a green for a 6/5 trample haste. Whenever the Gitrog Ravenous Ride deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that's saddled at this turn. It also saddles for 1. When you do, draw X cards and put X lands from your hand into play tapped, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Yeah, again, this is a good way to get like a 1 sack into the graveyard, so then I can get it back with Teneb. That's more of what I'm into. I don't really like sack outlets that much in Teneb because I'm not trying to sack a bunch of stuff in one turn. I'm more of like, a one big sack kind of guy. I'm more of a big one big sack kind of guy. Oh, that's gonna be great out of context. I like that. And the Ravenous, the Get Rog Ravenous Ride does that. I think it's really, really good. You can saddle it up with pretty much anything. Well, yeah, with anything. It's saddle 1. You can saddle it up with anything in this deck. Get free lands into play. Get a free sacrifice. Yeah, I haven't gotten to play with it yet. It reads like it'll be really good in here. It feels like it's kind of trying to do the similar things that Teneb's trying to do, which I like. And yeah, I will let you guys know how it plays once I finally get to actually play the card. But it is in here. I took out Miri Weatherlight Duelist as well. Yeah, 1 green and a white for a 3/2 first strike. When she attacks, each opponent can't block with more than 1 creature. As long as she's tapped, no more than 1 creature can attack you each turn. She is a really good card. She is a notably really good card. She can get hit with Sun Titan. I do think she's a very good card. The thing was, she just wasn't playing well. I honestly, this is one of those weird ones where I honestly can't even explain it. She just felt like she was a 3-drop, 3/2 first strike most of the time. You know what I mean? Or she would just get killed. And I don't know. I didn't like her as much as I thought I would. I don't know if that's a universal thing. I don't know if you guys have had a similar experience with Miri. This might be another one that I'm willing to try out again in the future. This might be like, again, in a future update, she might be back in the list. Who knows? We took out Oger Deepest Growth as well. It just wasn't hitting like I wanted it to. 3 2 green for a 6/5 trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom in any order. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed into Temple of Cultivation, which taps for a green, and then you can pay 2 and a green to transform it back into Oger of the Deepest Growth. Again, Oger might be another one that goes in there because it's, again, doing the thing that Teneb's doing. It's a big trampler that's trying to hit and cheat creatures into play, which, like, imagine if we had Oger, Get Rog, and Teneb into play. So, again, Oger might be one that I put back in here because now that I'm reading it again, I'm like, that is really good. That actually does read like it's great in Teneb. What I put in there, though, was Back for More from Thunder Junction. I just thought this card was cool. It's 4 a black and a green for an instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It fights target creature you don't control. If this is a sorcery, there's no chance I would ever touch this thing. But the fact that it's an instant, I don't mind this card. I actually think this isn't bad because like there's a situation where you can like let Teneb go to the grave on someone's turn, like if they try to kill it, and you're like, sure. And then you can just back for more. Like, at the end of someone's turn, have Teneb fight something, kill that thing. Now you can swing in, get something back. Back for More just seems like it's a really good tempo play. Again, I haven't gotten to play with it yet, but I'm trying it out. So we'll see how it goes. I will let you guys know how that goes. We took out Rishkar, the guy that 2 and a green puts a 1/1 counter on 2 creatures, and then creatures with counters on them have tap for a green. He's a good card. He just wasn't... Adding for green wasn't necessarily the color we needed for 1. And for 2, we ended up just putting an Aftermath Analyst, which is like such an insane card that's a fine takeout for me. 1 and a green, 1/3 when it comes into play, mill 3 cards, pay 3 and a green, sacrifice it, return all lands from your graveyard into play tapped. I played a game recently where I played turn 2 Aftermath Analyst, and then turn 3 sawed and halved it. And then there was a total of, I think, like 7 or 8 lands in my graveyard after that. Went to the next turn, and then my next 3 turns were just spent cracking Aftermath Analyst. On turn, like, 5, I had, I think, like 12, 13 lands. It's insane. Aftermath Analyst is extremely good. I like it a lot. That's an easy takeout. I took out Skrelv as well because I just don't like Toxic. I don't like Poison. I think it's kind of, like, cheesy. I'm not a fan. I put in Selfless Spirit because it's protection. I was only using Skrelv for protection a lot of the time anyway. And Selfless Spirit protects the whole board. It gets hit with Sun Titan. You can reanimate it. It's just like Selfless Spirit felt better in the deck, honestly, protecting my big stuff. Soul Coil Viper. This is one that I don't even remember putting in here. 2 and a black for a 2/3. You can pay a black, tap it, sacrifice Soul Coil Viper, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. This card is very good. I do like this card a lot. The finality counter, though. Just a lot of the time I was like, oh, I wish I could loop that, but I can't because it has a finality counter on it, which just felt bad. So, took it out. I put in Moira and Tashar, which is a bop card. I've been waiting to pick one of these up. It's 3 a black and a white for a... Woo, I lost it. 4/5 flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell, which is a artifact, legendary, or saga, we have tons of artifacts with our mana rocks. We have tons of legendaries in this deck, like tons. You get to return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. and then you exile it at the end of turn. So I thought this was a good takeout because they both bring back stuff, but then they both kind of exile the things they bring back. I like this one better because I can just like play 3 mana rocks, cheat back 3 huge things, bash face that turn, win the game. I think this is a definite like win con for sure in this deck. It's very, very good. We took out Triumph of St. Catherine. I just didn't like it that much. It's a good card. It's like it's not even a good card. It's a great card. It's a 5-drop 5/5 for with lifelink, but when it dies, you put it in the top 6 cards of your library into a pile, shuffle them, and put them back on top, and it has Miracle for 1 and a white. We now run Boromir, Warden of the Tower. I just like this card. I actually think it's really good. 2 and a white for a 3/3 Vigilance. When an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter it. Sacrifice Boromir. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. The ring tempts you. Again, it's kind of like Selfless Spirit. It's actually very similar to Selfless Spirit, except it's a 3/3 Vigilance that also shuts off spells that weren't cast, which is like super annoying and super good in a lot of case scenarios. And then being able to protect your board and then recur it and keep protecting your board and keep having the ring tempt you. Boromir's great. We took out Veto the Dusk Rose. Whenever you gain life, they lose that much. Paid 3 and 2 black to give all your creatures lifelink. It was just a little slow. It was very telegraphed. You could play it one turn, and people were like, okay, next turn he's gonna veto. Let's just smoke it. And we have Vault of the Archangel, which feels like it's doing Veto's job, and like we don't need Veto. It doesn't feel like we just need him. That's the thing. Runescar Demon, on the other hand, just another huge flying demon that tutors up a card when you play it. We'll do that. We'll actually take that 100%. And then the final thing we took out was Growing Rights of Iklamok, because it just put the stuff back on bottom. You got to look at your top 5, I think. It might have been 6. Top 4. Yeah, top 4 cards. You got to put a creature card from them into your hand and put the rest at the bottom. And then if you had 4 or more creatures, it flipped into a land that tapped for a green for each creature you control. Very good card. In this deck, all that green was unnecessary with how easy it is to cheat stuff into play in this deck. And tutoring and getting a creature off top and then putting everything else at the bottom instead of your graveyard, like I really wasn't into it. What I put in instead was Sword of Once and Future, which may seem weird, but then you read it and it's like, that's really, really good in Teneb, actually. 3 for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from blue and from black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, surveil 2, then you may copy an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it. So, pro black, pro blue, Teneb's not getting removed. A lot of people run black-blue, so Teneb's going to be unblockable in a lot of case scenarios. Surveiling 2 in a graveyard deck when he hits, yeah, we'll do that first, then we'll activate Teneb's Reanimate, just to make sure we get more options. And then casting something that costs 2 or less that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard when it hits. What do we have that costs 2 or less that's an instant or sorcery? Swords to Plowshare, Path to Exile, Heroic Intervention, Sign in Blood, Rampant Growth, Explore, and Night's Whisper. Reusing any of those when it hits is fine. I think if this thing even just read exactly how it is and it just didn't have the instant or sorcery part, I'd be like, that's pretty good in Teneb. I actually like that. I like that a lot, actually. I'm going to run that. So the fact that I could just recast any of these spells, definitely. We're definitely going to do that. So yeah, that's the new changes we did. Links down below to the prior deck list for Teneb and this new one now, so you can compare them a little bit for yourself. If you want to check those out. Any more suggestions you guys can make for the deck, please drop them down below. I just have stacks laying all over my room of cards that I'm like, maybe in Teneb that would be cool. So there's going to be a lot more update videos. So if you like Teneb, hopefully that's cool for you. But yeah, just a little bit of an easier video today, and then we're back on to the uploads as usual. I hope you guys like the more consistent stream of uploads. I hope that's been a thing you guys enjoy. If you do, like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. I think that's a pretty easy thing we can do with how good the community's been. But yeah, anyway, much love, guys. Hope you guys like the deck list, and go play some Magic.
Perfect. In response, run 100 up. You think I'm mulligan a pub, you ain't one of us. Where's it at? Where's it at? Ain't noticing it, I'm right here. Boom big, I'm noticing it. My pedal to the metal like gilded. My pedal float shit like I killed it. Real shit, let this little nerd get a word in real quick.